All right, everyone. Sorry for the delay here, but welcome to ECH Postgame Live, presented by Queen Anne Beer Hall. Thanks, everyone, for waiting here for us. We got our resources stretched a little thin tonight. We got Dylan and Jen at the Coachella Valley Firebirds game. So we might get Dylan hopping on live from the Firebirds game. That would be pretty cool. Can't guarantee it, but it's something we're going to try to do. So looking forward to that later on in the stream. Go Firebirds. But before we talk about the Firebirds, of course, we got to talk about that Kraken win. The Kraken beat the Winnipeg Jets 3-2 in a really good, hard-fought game. It felt like the Kraken were the better team pretty much the whole game. It's just special teams, those problems kind of reared their ugly head, but the Kraken stuck with it and they overcame some of those difficulties. They came back and they won the game on a couple really great highlight reel goals from Jordan Eberle to tie the game early, and then Jared McCann to take the lead. So awesome game, great atmosphere in the building. Got a little quiet in the first period after the Jets came out and scored that first goal. But man, the crowd got back into it. It's just an awesome game to go to, awesome game to be at, and super excited to talk with all of you about it. Again, thanks for bearing with us here while I ran home into the studio through the snow, by the way. Gorgeous snowy night here in Seattle at Climate Pledge Arena. I love it. This is perfect weather for me. Just what a night. All right, well, we'll kick it off with chat here. Brian, we beat Winnipeg. Yes, the Kraken did beat the Winnipeg Jets, especially after losing such a tough one to them last time around. That was the infamous Carson Soucy game. But the Kraken did hold on to a late lead. So making up for that. Good for the Kraken there. All right, we got Derek in here early with some stars for tonight, 3 stars. McCann, Donato, and Gruby. I think those were the official 3 stars there. Jared McCann, huge goal for him. We can talk about it a little bit later too, but it's his first third period goal this season. Out of all 14 goals that he scored this season, it's his first one to come in the third period. So that is huge. And of course, the game winner there, Ryan Donato. Just go into the net. No surprise. Talked with Dave Haxtell after the game, and I liked his comment on Donato. He's like, yeah, that's not a surprise. He scored that goal. He lives at the net, which kind of got a little chuckle from the media people because it's true. Ryan Donato lives at the net. He goes hard to the net, and he's been getting rewarded recently. And then, of course, Philip Grubauer, solid all the way through. You look at the only 2 goals that he let in, and they're both on the power play. So perfect at even strength for him. Walt, I didn't look it up or do the math. What was Gru's save percentage? I don't know offhand. I know it was under 900 because the Jets had, I believe, 17 shots. So that would be 15 saves on 17 shots. I'm not that good with the complicated math, but I'm looking it up. 882 save. Brian, of course, in the chat with the 882. I should have trusted chat would get there first. But yeah, 882 save percentage for Grubauer, but some big ones there in clutch moments. It's not always the save percentage. A lot of times it's when you make them. Tammy, that's 60 minutes. Yeah, I mean, you look at even the lows kind of tonight for the Kraken, and they were not what the historic lows were in a game usually for this team. I think it was a very solid 60 minutes. Team Spindle's total team effort. Absolutely. And you got contributions from, your depth lines. You've got some depth scoring with Ryan Donato there. Total team effort. And Haxtell said before the game, we're going to need a total team effort to win, to beat this Jets team. I mean, it's a good Jets team. And they needed a total team effort, and they got it. Ty, more nasty goal scorers. I love it. Yeah, I mean, some highlight reel goals in this game. Derek with the Ebbs goal was sick. Yes, it absolutely was. Tammy, that Ebbs goal made me cry. It was such a sweet goal. I mean, up in the press bridge, we were all kind of, aghast at that goal. It was amazing. And Jared McCann after the game said, that's Jordan Eberle. That's what I remember watching growing up. Might make him seem a little older than he is, but definitely something that his teammates weren't surprised by. He's got a heck of a backhand shot. All right, thanks for the super chat here. We got a super chat from Kraken Spectator. what a game. Well-deserved win. Was waiting for the Susie elbow to blow it. This is Kraken Troll, by the way. Hey, Kraken Troll. Yeah, I saw you at practice the other day. Thanks for checking in on me to make sure I was feeling better. But yeah, great game. Well-deserved win. Yeah, Susie was not on the ice at the end there. Maybe that had something to do with it, but I think he's learned his lesson there, and good to see them able to hold the lead. All right. Let's see. Bassi, Jets looked tired and Kraken dominated 5-on-5. So that was an issue as well, because this was a back-to-back game for the Jets. And I think the Kraken did a good job using that extra rest to their advantage, which is something you have to do against teams on back-to-back, something the Kraken haven't always been the best at doing. But it was good to see that from them tonight. Gary, I'm still in shock about that Ebbs goal. We were lucky enough to see that from him last year, but to do it again, wow. Yeah, so he did have a goal kind of like that last season. And as we were waiting, I think it was we were waiting for Yanni Gord in the locker room there, and the media folks, someone said, it was really quiet, and someone said, wait, didn't Everly do something like that last year? And yeah, I remembered. I'm like, it was against the Rangers. It was this great spinorama right over Igor Shesterkin's shoulder. And then, yeah, he's got a great backhand shot. Just some natural talent there for Jordan Eberle. Just an amazing goal. Striatic, do we know how Jared McCann's cheek got cut? I don't know offhand, but his cheek was definitely cut. We saw him after the game. I don't know how that happened. I mean, you take a lot of little bumps and bruises in an NHL game, but I don't remember exactly where that came from. Bazzi, critical note: where did Larson on that second power play goal? Yeah, so I think I know what you're talking about. Adam Larson kind of sneaks up closer to the puck almost to play it like you'd think the forward would. And then he gets caught leaving a guy basically open in front of the net for the rebound because he's committed himself too far up. I need to go back and look at that one again. I haven't had the chance to really see it and break it down again. But it's something I definitely want to, get Dylan's take on too, when we talk about, this game afterward, because yeah, it looked like Larson had kind of, just drifted out of position there. So yeah, I don't know what happened exactly, but it didn't look right. So I'm going to go back and take a look at it. Let's see. Striatic, Gru's goal saved above expected was 0.91. Very good. Save percentage lies sometimes. Exactly. This was an instance where I think save percentage does lie. You look at the quality of the chances that the Jets got. And I think that tells you more of the story. You look at the shot quality. I think it was very close in this game, at least by Money Puck and Natural Stat Trick that I checked. I think like in the early third period, it was quite close. So yeah, exactly. Grubauer, do him well from there. All right. So it looks like we have Dylan. Dylan is here, ready to go. Getting ready to add him to the stream. Give me 1 second here. Hey, Dylan.
Hey, how's it going?
All right. Well, all right. Here we go. We got Dylan. Not as much of a background, but we got Dylan. All right. So you were at the Firebirds game right now.
Yep.
How's it going?
Yes, there's 8:33 left. It's 4-2 Firebirds. 3 power play goals for them. Doing pretty well tonight. Gonna tell everybody right now, don't read anything into the save percentage for Joey Decor tonight because hasn't faced a lot of shots, and his defense kind of let him out to dry for those 2 goals for the Roadrunners. But otherwise, it's been a fantastic night. I can't wait to tell everybody about it on the podcast, tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were just talking about how save percentage can be deceiving with Grubauer tonight. That is literally the last thing we talked about. So I think everybody will understand and is on board with that. But yeah, how much time's left in the game? What's the situation?
7:50 left, 4-2 Firebirds. So
all right, 7:50 left. Are you able to turn it around to show us what it looks like there?
I am, but only once play is stopped.
Okay.
I don't make the rules. That's the rule, though.
All right, good to know.
I gotta wait for a stoppage so that I can show everybody what's going on. But I've taken a lot of video in and around the arena, both before the game and after, and I'm really excited to show everybody and just let everybody know all the cool little details that they've got going on out here at Acrisure Arena.
Yeah, can't wait to hear all about it. Seems like a great event. Let's see, Ty, love the end seats, Dylan. So easy to watch the plays develop. Yeah, how are the seats tonight?
Pretty good. I'm up at like kind of the top of a section. Here we go. Looks like things just stopped. Kind of see things out there.
Nice.
So
There you go.
it's really nice. It's a great size. I feel like it's a good like kind of intimate setting to watch a hockey game. You can it gets pretty loud. We got good speakers set up in here, and then obviously the fans are fantastic. And so it's kind of nice. It's a good mix of like intimate with still feeling like you went out and were around a bunch of like-minded supporters of your hockey club.
Awesome. I mean that looks great. Yeah, how's the weather there?
Perfect.
I'm curious.
It's like 67, sunny, perfect.
Awesome. Glad to hear that.
I saw some snow.
It's snowing
on your
here,
end.
by the way. Yep.
Yeah. Lucky you. Hope everybody's enjoying it. Hope everybody stays safe out there driving and whatnot.
Hey, you know what? I'd rather have it like this, to be honest. So I think we're both in the right spot. I'm going to try the overlay one more time. Nope. All right. Well,
it looks like the middle there wasn't made transparent.
I know. I literally went in and did it. I went in and did it on GIMP, and yeah, it's still not working. So I did think of that. All right, let's see if we got some more chat here. Don't worry, Dylan. We can see in your glasses how the
there we go.
Awesome. So if anyone has, I mean, I'll let you go in a second because I know you've got this whole, the game to cover and everything. But if anyone has any quick, like last minute questions for Dylan, last call for Dylan questions, let's get them in here.
Yeah, I got to make sure I save enough phone charge for post-game media availability.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's going to be a fun one. This seems like a nice, like how nice, brand new looking does everything look?
Everything is brand new. Got to see the first soda stains on the concrete today. It's been my go-to line, but no, everything is really, really nice. Like I said, I got tons of pictures and video and stuff. Get to show everybody during the next deep dive. Really looking forward to it.
Awesome. And then, but before you go, we got a super chat from Braun here. Describe the season up to this point in 3 words.
Wow. That's a tough one. That's a good one.
The first ones that just came into my mind are better than expected.
That's what I was just going to say. Like I was trying to work down better than we thought. How about just a lot of fun?
Okay, if you kind of do lotta as like what?
Yeah, lotta is one word. Go look it up on Urban Dictionary.
All right. And then I've got another super chat from Duthan real quick. Shout out to the Eberle twirling goal and hockey in Coachella. I hope I can make it out there someday.
Yeah, we had our own Spinorama goal.
Oh, really?
I have not. I put it on Twitter. Yeah, I put it out there on Twitter. Frodin.
Nice.
It was fantastic. Awesome. Lots of power play goals for the Firebirds. I'll let everybody in on that. 3 power play goals so far tonight. So that's been fun.
I mean, it seems like Jesper Frodin's just been on fire. So I got to go look at that one. All right, Dylan, thank you for joining us so much. I will let you go. I mean, you've got the third period of an intense game to go follow and cover. But thank you so much for joining us. Glad to have you.
Sure thing. Take care, everybody. Hope you have a good post game.
Yep. All right. All right, everyone. Back to just me. That was great that Dylan could stop by there and tell us how it's going in the Firebirds game. Yeah, it seems like he's having a really good time. Firebirds with the lead. That'd be cool if the Kraken and the Birds could close out wins tonight. It'd be a night to remember, that's for sure. All right, so let's head back to the Kraken base chat here. Let's go back to where I was. Here from Light, the third tonight personally tops the third in the first Caps game in terms of excitement and fun to watch. Great win for the team, and they earned it. Yeah, I think it was, it's a good comparison too. I think it's kind of similar, the 2 third periods there. But this one, I think it has a more dramatic goal, toward the end. That McCann goal was something to see. That the goal right at the start of the period, to tie it, I think, I have no problem with rating this one above that Caps game. This one next from Braun. Hello, boys and girls. What do I tell my girlfriend about the team right now? I haven't made the time to watch the last few games, but what's the current situation? Little winning streak and then a little losing streak. And now, Yeah, I mean, good question, and it just kind of, a way to sum it up. I think the Kraken were just absolutely on fire for a long time. A couple, long winning streak, 6, 7 games. And then, yeah, I think the losing streak, I would call it, a streak of difficult games against difficult opponents that were playing at their best. The Kraken faced a lot of good teams, especially Eastern Conference teams, and especially on the road that were playing at the top of their game, and they're also very good teams. And I think the Kraken are back to playing the way that they need to. Starting kind of tonight, I think they're really starting to get back to their game, and it is a little bit lower scoring. Goals are tougher to come by, but as Dave Haxtell said tonight, that's just what this time of the year is. And so I think you're going to see them in more of these kind of slogs like this. You might see more overtime games. But basically, the Kraken are hanging in there, and they're just banking points, but they're in a good spot in the standings still. CR Bud, always a pleasure to see other teams turn over pucks in high danger areas. Yeah, that is really nice. A few high danger area turnovers for the Jets tonight. And it's always good to be on the right side of that. I feel like Kraken fans, especially if you've been around back to last season, they know what it feels like to be on the wrong side of them. Ferris, seems like the Kraken never have back-to-backs this year. It is more rare, and it's definitely something the Kraken have a lot fewer back-to-backs than they did last year. But it's a nice little wrinkle in the schedule. And I remember we asked the team about that at the start of the season, kind of around when the schedule, all came out, or when they had the first back-to-backs, and they seemed happy about it. So, that's good. Let's see. A Striatic, I hope they aren't considering left shot Ellie Tolvanen a Ryan Donato replacement when there is no replacing Ryan Donato. He is the beating heart of the Seattle Kraken. Make Seattle Ryan Donato's forever home. Agreed. Ryan Donato, I mean, he is the Seattle Kraken in a lot of ways, back to scoring their first ever goal. And the guy just doesn't stop working. And I thought he got the ultimate compliment from Dave Haxtell night. The guy lives at the net. He just lives at the net. And so when you need goals, he's a guy you go to because he always goes to the right areas. Tonight, I mean, he talked about it too. He kind of has the religion angle, but he says he always just goes back to his faith and playing the way he knows that he can play, and he has faith that he's going to get rewarded. Tammy, interesting lines tonight. Yeah, I mean, the Burakovsky Bjorkstrand switch was an interesting change there from Dave Haxtell starting at practice yesterday, but I liked it. I don't know. I like these new look lines. I thought it gave both of the lines involved just a little bit of a jump, and I was glad to see that. All right, we got a super chat from Brian. Very happy for Donato, a 3-game goal scoring heater, solid 60 minutes. Grew with great saves, clean exits with pace and entries, work hard and win. Well said, Brian. Donato, 3-game goal scoring streak. I mean, he's awesome. I know you've got that Ryan Donato jersey. It's on your picture in your little profile thing there. You made a good choice with that jersey for sure. But yeah, a solid 60 minutes, grew with some saves. And I think you really hit on it too. Clean exits with pace and zone entries. It felt like the Kraken really cleaned up their zone exits, especially after maybe the last couple games, not looking the best in that department. I think maybe being at home helps. I think maybe getting in a full practice yesterday helps. And then, with pace, the Jets just couldn't match the Kraken's speed entering the zone. It was obvious from the start of the game that as long as, the Kraken were playing at even strength, as long as they stayed out of the box, the Jets had a really hard time dealing with their speed. And it was good to see the Kraken look like clearly the faster team again. All right, back further in chat. You know what, everyone, can I grab some water real quick? I forgot to get it ready for the start of the stream. One sec. All right, got my water. We're good. Valentina, after Ebbs backy, I said, this is how it started. A no look backy. Next stop, Ebbs hat trick. I think there is, kind of the timeline it exists where Jordan Eberle scores a hat trick in this game because he was feeling it, absolutely feeling it. If you go back and watch the 2 or 3 shifts after he scores that goal, that is the most confident I have seen him, maybe ever, with the Kraken. He just had this feeling that everything was going to go his way tonight. And after that goal, why wouldn't you feel that way? He was just dangling around guys. He was trying really ambitious passes. A lot of them were working. He was skating extra hard. It was just beautiful to see. And then I think finally he tried like this no look pass through two guys to Matty Beniers and got intercepted. And I think at that point he's like, all right, I'm human. I got to remember that now. But yeah, some great shifts from Eberle after that goal as well. Kraken spectator, the McCann cut was from the tussle on the far boards from when his helmet came off. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, maybe that's probably what it is. Evan, great game to see live. I have to admit, I was a bit scared after watching the Jets dominate the Canucks last night, but Kraken hockey is back, baby. Well said. Because I mean, Dave Haxtell's talked about this. He's like, we're not really a matchup team. And I know coaches will insist, well, it's about what we do. It's kind of hockey speak. But I think that is really a key for the Kraken. As long as they're playing the game they need to play, it doesn't really matter if their opponent is a really good team or playing well. When the Kraken are playing their game, they're just really hard to beat. Let's see. And then we got the Dylan stuff in chat earlier. Let's see. Valentina, I'm with you on Donato, talking about Striatic. Even with my love of the Finns, even though more Finns equals more wins, I don't want it to be at Donato's expense. Yeah, nice getting Tolvanen and just say I have another Finn in the building. That's always nice. And I like that. More Finns equals more wins. That's certainly been the case at some recent World Juniors tournaments there. But yeah, not at Donato's expense. Sorry, Brian, I didn't get to ask Dylan about the acoustics, but we'll definitely hear about that on the podcast. And let's see. Tammy, Wenny had some good forechecking tonight, but I also get frustrated with him. I understand the sentiment with Wenberg, and I do think it helped moving Bjorkstrand onto his line, giving him a little bit of a boost. But yeah, I think, again, Wenberg is just kind of caught in this between a second and a third line center. And, when you're playing him as solidly a member of the top six, I think he's just inevitably going to look disappointing at times. He's going to have flashes that show top six kind of stuff. But, I think that's going to happen. Medeiros, Gru deserved that win. Absolutely, he did. Glad to see you in here, Medeiros, especially with Grubauer as one of the 3 stars tonight. Classic Philip Grubauer game. Just so calm and steady in the crease. Again, the only goals he allowed were on the Jets power play, and that 5-on-3 one was impossible. But he made all the saves he needed to make. Other than those, so. Duthan, thank you for the super chat here, Duthan. It's official. First win in Coachella. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Glad that Dylan and Jen got to see a win there. Final score. I don't know what the final score is. If someone can chat, could tell me. It was 4-2 last we knew, but that is awesome. Go Firebirds. So glad to see them get a win on the first night in their new arena. That's going to be an unforgettable moment for everyone there. Duthan saying 4-3. All right. So we got pretty close at the end, sounds like. But way to go, Firebirds. And I'm so excited to see all the reporting that Dylan has from that game. Stratic, first home win for Fuego. Yes, a big night for Fuego tonight, christening that new building. Excuse me, Valentina, go baby birds. Yes. Good to see. Awesome. Glad the Firebirds got the win. And thank you again for the super chat there, Duthan, for letting us know. That is awesome. And I'm sure we'll get some quotes. We'll get some, some info on the atmosphere from Dylan. And probably there's more on Twitter that I haven't even seen. So Dylan's going to keep us all covered really well. So, let's see. Stratic, Gru didn't face a lot of shots, but he left his groin out there on the ice for his team. There were a couple times where he did the splits and I had to just check, like, you okay, dude? Because, yeah, I mean, he's very flexible, and thank goodness he is, because he had to stretch a lot in this game. Coop, Eberle cannot miss that empty netter. That would have been a Matty assist, and we need every point for him. Yeah, no, that's true. Eberle, putting a little dent in the Matty for Calder run there. But I think he can be forgiven after the goal he scored earlier in the game. But interesting to see, he was left off the 3 stars. And we did have some people up there commenting about that. So I think our buddy Scott Brendan from Cheap Seat Sports, he made a good joke. He's like, hey, when you miss an empty net, that's what happens. And got a good chuckle in the elevator there. So, Duthan, what do you think about the new line chemistry? So I answered that a little bit, but I like the shakeup that those 2 new lines brought. I think, as much as we kind of said earlier that Burakovsky and Gore just wouldn't gel together, I don't know. With Ryan Donato, it kind of worked. It kind of worked a little bit better than I thought it would. But mostly I really liked Oliver Bjorkstrand, on the line with Wenberg and Schwartz. I thought that was just a better fit for him. But glad to see the Gord line kind of worked. And I don't know that I would really go with that long term, but if you need a shakeup, then it works. Let's see in chat. Brian, we won at home. So happy for my friends in the building who got to be there to see it. Yeah, it was a great experience for anyone who was in the building there. And I know, Brian, you've got a lot of friends, from the ECH community who were there in the building to see it. And yeah, anyone who was able to go to the game definitely remembered that one. And then, yeah, Gary pointing out the Roadrunners getting within 1, but we know how that ended, so it's all good. Let's see. Coop, back on Wenberg. I feel like compared to everyone else on our team, Matty, Turbo, Donato, even Bjorky, Wenberg's compete level is just so low. I think part of that is just how he plays. He's not. He's almost on like the opposite spectrum of Tanev, where as much as like Tanev hustles really hard, you also notice it just because of the style that he's doing this out there. You can see how hard he's trying, and I think Wenberg just plays a bit more subtle of a game. Not that he doesn't necessarily try as hard, but yeah, just kind of a more subtle style. But yeah, Kubi has no confidence to shoot, and even as a good passer, he fires pucks into his teammates' skates. The shooting thing is well known, well documented, and yeah, when his passing's not on the mark, it can get a little ugly. And Daniel, is something going on with Jones? Kind of surprised Grubauer started tonight. Are we just starting to ride Gru as a typical starter? He has been playing great. And this is something that I was wondering. I think a lot of the media was wondering after Grubauer got the surprise start last game, what exactly was going on there with Martin Jones. Was he okay? He was fine. He backed up tonight. Hackstall said yesterday that he would be good to go. So there's nothing obvious going on with him, like an injury or anything like that. My guess, and this is just pure speculation, might be that he was just feeling maybe a little sick, a little under the weather. I don't know, before the last game. And so they decided to give Grubauer the start. And then with how well he played last game, you got to start him tonight. So, but it might be the start of Grubauer going back into a typical starter's workload. And honestly, that's kind of where the Kraken should be. If they're going to have any kind of real long-term success, Philip Grubauer's got to be the goalie to lead them there. So I think giving him those opportunities is the right idea. Absurdly saying if they even think about letting Donnie go, we storm Ron Francis's house. Oh man. Well, clearly they thought about it last offseason without giving him a qualifying offer. But I think after another year proving himself, you got to find a way to keep him around. Let's see. And then all the Firebirds win. That's great to see. Let's see through the Firebird stuff. Brian, Kraken organization won the Gold Coast tonight. Yes, that is true. Also from Brian, Alexiak and Schultz work well together. So happy to have them back. I asked Dave Hackstall after the game, what was the impact of getting those two back? And I think his answer just started with, well, you saw it out there, right? How much they bring to the team, in all areas, and especially on special teams. He did talk about Alexiak on the PK, and what he brings there. I know some of us might be a little critical of that tonight, but he talked about Justin Schultz on the power play also, and just the impacts they each have in their own area of the game, especially getting Justin Schultz back. That was huge. He gets an assist on the winning goal, and he just makes such a difference for this team. Great pickup from Ron Francis in the offseason. This one from Ferris. I thought Donskoy would have been back by now. Has there been any update on him? Kate Shefty, the Seattle Times, asked about him yesterday. Hackstall basically just said no update. So no update, nothing basically since the whole day-to-day upper body injury from preseason. One could speculate about, things that could be, given that he doesn't appear to have, any hand, arm, anything like that. You might speculate that potentially it could be a head injury, but at the end of the day, we don't know. But we know not to expect him back anytime soon. CR Bud, I just think Yanni adapts and overcomes on any line. I think there is something to that. And when you talk about, maybe Burakovsky not being a stylistic fit, Yanni Gourde is just such a versatile player. He can adapt his game to play with just about anybody. And I think you saw a little bit of that tonight, working into open space, feeding off of when Burakovsky had the puck, trying to give him an outlet there and an option. And then, of course, on Donato's goal, kind of the pump fake, the little double take with the puck before throwing it at the net. That is also classic Yanni Gourde, but knowing the line mates that he has, knowing that Ryan Donato lives at the net, and you know what, he's probably going to be there, and just throwing that puck on net. So great stuff from Yanni Gourde tonight, as always. Striatic, any opinion on the PK struggling again? It seems like it might be, seems like it might be after finally looking sort of okay recently. And you know what, that's something I was thinking too, because there was, a lot of the narratives around the media were asking about the PK being better and like, what'd you do to fix the PK? And I didn't know that it looked entirely better. I mean, it was certainly an improvement over some of the bad stretches, but I wasn't sure it was where they wanted it to be. And I think, with tonight, that on that 5-on-3, it's tough because that you don't really necessarily practice that. And a 5-on-3 is so tough, but you'd like to get through more than 3 seconds of it. And then, on that other power play goal where you just don't take care of your guy in front of the net. I think they still have some of those problems that have been plaguing them all season. Let's see. Burnt Cream. So what is the deal with Tolvanen? Did we pick him up to practice? Kuhlman was very serviceable. No, I mean, he hasn't played yet, but I think there just hasn't been a reason, to take somebody else out of the lineup. I think that's the part of the equation that maybe not everyone is seeing, is that in order to put Tolvanen in, you've got to have a reason to take somebody else out. And, you look at the last game with Donato and Sprong scoring goals. You don't want to take them out of the lineup. Tolvanen is a winger, so you're not going to be taking like out of Morgan Geekie or any kind of center to put him in the lineup. And then, then you look at, Oliver Bjorkstrand. Brandon Tanev. I don't think you want to take those guys out, to put Tolvanen in. So I think, he is just that extra body for now. But the reason I think that he was picked up over Carson Kuhlman is just the higher scoring upside and the ability that he brings to the game offensively. That's just not the way that Carson Kuhlman plays. I mean, it's a rough comparison, but think about like Kuhlman versus a Daniel Sprong. Sprong can do certain things that, as good of a player and serviceable as Carson Kuhlman is, Kuhlman's just never going to be able to do, just because of the type of player he is. So I think they're going higher risk, higher reward there. That would be my guess. Brian, Maddie has been awarded an assist on the McCann game winner. Source ESPN. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Another one for the Maddie for Calder race. So there you go. I mean, he misses out on the Eberle empty netter, but he gets one on the McCann game winner, which is cool. Let's see, Coop. I feel like Hack's trying to pump Gru's confidence. Agreed. And why wouldn't you want to? I mean, guy, he's going to be your starting goalie. This from Light. Very interesting note. I realized the Kraken have not allowed a single 5-on-5 goal from the Jets in both of our games. While our PK needs to be better, that's still rather impressive. Interesting, because yeah, I mean, you look at that other Jets game, and it was, largely special teams, and then you've got kind of the 6-on-5 there, where they tied it after the Susi, or 6-on-4, sorry, after the Susi penalty. And then, of course, the overtime winner at 3-on-3. But yeah, at 5-on-5 against the Jets in those two games, the Kraken have definitely looked like the better team. And if you can be the better team at 5-on-5, you're going to win most of those opportunities. Coop, last thing on Wenny, I promise. He makes a little less than 4 times Donato makes. Imagine 3 more Donatos for the price of 1 Wenny. Lol. Yeah, I mean, the contract is the other thing. Like that's the other reason, basically, where he probably doesn't play up to what that contract is, even though he's a useful player. Now let's see. Valentina, it pains me to predict that we won't see Donskoy on Kraken ice again. He's my guy, but our system doesn't work for him. Would be super happy to be wrong. Yeah, I mean, it is something that I've thought about. With the injury, you never know when he might come back. He may have played his last game as a Kraken, and if that is the case, that would be a real shame because excuse me, I know how much he wanted to be a part of the solution here after last season. I know he wasn't happy with how that season went. And I know he was working really hard to, improve himself in his game. And I think he just wanted to get a chance there. Injuries are really a cruel part of the game. And unfortunately, they've hit him this year. But I would love to see him get another chance to be healthy and to contribute with this team. I mean, that's kind of the last, thing this team is missing. They've got contributions from just about everybody else in the lineup. It'd be great to get some from him as well. Let's see. Andrew, I was glad to be at CPA for this one. How about that backhander from Ebbs? It was an insane goal. Glad you got to be at the game live. Hope you had a good angle of that Eberle goal. It was just, what a moment. It completely woke the crowd up, after it got a little quiet in the building. Glad you got to be there, Andrew. And then we need that. All right. So we're only at the 36-minute mark, but it is a little bit, further after game time. So we've reached the end of chat here. So if anyone has anything they want to talk about, anything they want to cover, from tonight's game or otherwise, throw it in the chat here. We'll do, kind of a last call, I guess. We'll see how long it goes, but I'm certainly saying a whole lot of people need to like the stream. That's true. We got to get a like the stream reminder in there. So we got that. Taking a look at it. Brian, I'd love to see what Donskoy producing would look like on this squad. That's true. I mean, we haven't really seen what he can do on this team. And as we know, it's a very different team than it was last season. He hasn't really got the chance to play with so many of these guys. So I would like to see it. Burnt cream. So NHL is so vague about injuries and return time. Could Donskoy be healed and they just hide him out? That would be against the rules. I'll say that much. And I don't think it's the case. Knowing the Kraken organization, they are a character organization, an honest organization. I don't think they would do anything like that. And there would really be no benefit to doing that. It's not like, it hurts you having him, either take up a roster spot, or heck, you could waive him and he doesn't take up a roster spot. You could send him to Coachella Valley to try and get right. So I just don't think there's any benefit to that. And it would be against the rules. I don't think the Kraken would do that. Gary, like the stream, merch, Patreon. Yes. Thank you for getting all our plugs in there. Hey, while we're on merch, I mean, hey, we got to show the Matty for Calder shirt there. He added an assist apparently on that last goal to his Calder run. If you haven't got the shirt already, go check it out. It's great. I've started to see pictures from people who have gotten their shirts, gotten their hoodies, and it looks awesome in person. Mine is supposed to arrive very soon, so I will be wearing it on the stream as soon as I can. But there, we have plugged the merch. Let's see. And then Evan, yes, don't forget Larson bobblehead night on Tuesday. That is going to be a fun one. I think I mentioned on this on the podcast earlier, but I got the chance to show Adam Larson what that bobblehead looked like, where he saw it for the first time. excuse me, great reaction from him. And I think he couldn't deny that they nailed it. I think he was looking for problems with it, but couldn't find any. So, and I know Vince Dunn wants one of them. So make sure to get there early to get that Larson bobblehead on Tuesday. I am going to try and somehow get one for Dylan. I don't want to take them away from any fans, but maybe I could find a way to get one to give to Dylan, because I feel like he needs one of those. He's already got the actual Deep V going. He's got to add that to his collection. So Joey, I believe Yanni or Tanev is more of heartbeat of Kraken than Donato. I think you can have multiple right answers. I mean, you can't take anything away from Yanni or Brandon Tanev. They are both like heart and soul members of the team. But that's one of the beauties of this team, is there are so many leaders. There are so many heartbeat kind of guys in that locker room. You don't just have one. And I mean, that's one of the things that makes this team so great and allows them to function so well without a captain. Coop, was Donskoy good in Colorado? Yeah, he was good in Colorado. I mean, he played with some good players, and I think that helped him as well. But yeah, he was good in Colorado, and he was good in San Jose. I watched a lot of him with the San Jose Sharks, and I thought he was one of my favorite players when he was there, especially during that 2016 Cup final run. He played an integral part in that. And the kind of offensive creativity that he brings is so fun to watch when he's on his game. I just want to be able to get back to that. Let's see. Thank you, Burnt Cream. Nice job, RJ. You do a very good job on the mic. Appreciate it. It is a little tougher here without Dylan, and it's certainly not quite the same without him. For the whole one of these, but appreciate it. Let's see. Andrew, just want to say thanks for what you and Dylan are doing for Seattle hockey. You the man, RJ. Thank you, Andrew. Really appreciate it. All of you, it's the community. It's all of you that make this what it is. It's an awesome Seattle hockey community. And I get reminded that, every single game. So appreciate that. Hockey Mom, thank you, Queen Anne Beer Hall, for sponsoring ECH. And yes, they're a big part of the ECH community. And let me tell you, if you were there this morning, because I talked about it last post game, that the Queen Anne Beer Hall was the place to watch the World Cup final. If you were there this morning, man, you would not regret it. I mean, a heck of a World Cup game, and Queen Anne Beer Hall had the place absolutely packed for the game. Doors opened at 6:30, and I mean, just the whole time, it was like all the hours, just the game, them setting up the stage for the awards and everything. Just fantastic atmosphere at Queen Anne Beer Hall. And as Kitty B. Kraken pointing out, can't wait for the Queen Anne live event. That is right. We've got a couple, and speaking of Dylan earlier, chance to see me and Dylan at Queen Anne Beer Hall. We still got to update the year on here. I got to put the new graphic up. But we got the watch party and live post game January 14th, 2023. So that is less than a month from now at Queen Anne Beer Hall. And then also that Monday, January 16th, 2023, we're going to have a live post game there after the game. So make sure to go and meet us there and check that out at Queen Anne Beer Hall. And Tammy, someone get a Larson bobblehead for Dylan. I know we got to make this happen. Got to happen. Stratic, great stream. No further questions. Oh, but go Sharks, please beat the Flames. That would help the Kraken a lot. So yeah, I can get behind that. Stratic, the Pacific has been kind during the losses, and now hopefully the winning begins again. So they can just Kraken can make up more points on the Pacific Division, move onward and upward, and maybe lowly teams like the Sharks can help play spoiler against teams like the Flames. And Valentina, Donskoy was at his best on the Sharks. Gotta agree. I saw some great games from Jonas Donskoy there with the Sharks. Question here from Daniel. Are we starting to ride Grubauer as a typical starter? Did something happen to Jones injury-wise? Gru has been playing great. Nothing obvious on the Jones injury front. Maybe he was just feeling under the weather, one day. But I think Grubauer is starting to take over that starting job again. And honestly, if you're the Kraken, that's what you want. You want him taking over that job. You want him playing well. So I have no problem with it. And then we got Kitty B Kraken. Thanks, RJ, for going solo tonight. Great to see the Kraken back in the win column and the Firebirds coverage. Yeah, this was pretty cool. Kind of having me and Dylan split up, as tough as it is to go solo, having Dylan there covering that game, and Jen, of course, can't forget our awesome photographer, Jen, covering that game. She's going to have some great shots for us as well. We're going to get some awesome photos. But yeah, Kraken and Firebirds on the same night. Love to see it. Such a great organization, top to bottom. And I think with that, we will call it for this edition of ECH Postgame Live, presented by Queen Anne Beer Hall. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Waiting half an hour after the game, like 45 minutes after the game, for me to go do my media thing and get back to all of you. But this has been awesome. I can't wait to hear more from Dylan later. Thanks everyone. We will see you all next time.